All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon Kindle Create Space. Link could be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up. I put it up. But this video, though, is entitled Society Stomps Out Your Inner Genius. So I was watching a video of a guy talk about at age 4, most people have genius level intelligence. But as the groups get older, the genius level intelligence dies off, and part of the reason is because of education, assimilation, culture, I would say stereotypes, haters, and people hating, and this idea that I have to play games with you to see how bad you want it, because you hear what you're not going to be far more than what you are going to be. And there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism if you're telling somebody, look, you're not going to be what you think if you are doing it in this particular manner that's counterproductive to what you're trying to do. That's constructive criticism. But if you're just telling somebody you're not going to be successful just because I want to hurt your feelings, you're a hater. So that's what it is. And we seem to forget that when we were children in school, we had a way of processing information, but they wanted us to process information in a similar cookie cutter fashion. Now, the funny part about it is, as you get older, you want to be looked at as an individual, and you don't want people to come at you so stereotypically, kind of in the way that people talk about the dating market, where people ask you what you doing, hi, and everybody's saying the same thing and doing the same thing. Well, that's part of the reason, because a lot of people's individualism was stumped out of them, and with assimilating to society. So your inner genius, your inner smart thoughts, in some ways, it dwindles down. Now, I got other aspects of this that I think about. Like, one is theft, and particularly theft of intellectual property. And what I mean by that is, sometimes you got to hide your intelligence because people like to steal your intellectual property, your ideas. You start learning this as a student when when people need to cheat off of your test. You can't cheat off of theirs because they stupid. But we're not going to go there. Yes, we is. We're going to go there. So many stupid people who think being smart is finding somebody smarter than them to cheat off of. So, of course, you get this dichotomy where now I'm smart, but I don't want to let the people around me know how smart, because, they're going to want me to be smart for them. Like I'm pseudo working for them. And they think they're a pseudo boss, because if I could just get near you, you'll do all the work for me, and that makes me look like a genius. Now, over time, that makes you look like an idiot, because all you know how to do is position yourself around intelligent people and try to take credit. But see, at some point, you're going to be put in the hot seat for what you actually know. And a lot of those people who are like that don't know nothing. And when they're in that hot seat, they burn. That hot seat turns into an electric chair. It is what it is. But society stomps out your inner genius. Sometimes being a genius, quote unquote, because I think it's overused nowadays, but that's just my opinion. But being brilliant, that could be stumped out of you because of financial purposes. Your brilliance can't pay the bills, so now you have to put your genius on the back burner so you can eat. And now your genius becomes a hobby and not your primary source of income. And that happens to most people. This is how most people wind up working for somebody and not working for themselves. Because you might learn a craft and hone your skill at doing something, but you don't own the craft of marketing and promotion and networking. You don't know those things. So now you got to take your craft genius and then create business genius and create social genius and put them all together as a one-stop shop. And in a society it kind of helps, but it hurts, because society makes everybody kind of like the cookie cutter same mold or model. So individualism, though it's praised, it's really frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? Everything has to be similar and look the same, or it's out of place for some odd reason. It has to have some sense of structure that kind of coincides, that works, kind of feng shui type balance. Which, you get structure and you get balance, so to a degree you get it. You don't want two things in the same area that are diametrically opposed, because it won't flow right. I mean, how long can they coexist without confrontation? Probably not long. So to a degree you do get why people are trying to have everybody assimilate in a certain way, but you don't understand, what being different is. And like, take into consideration somebody like Thelonious Monk, right? People couldn't see Thelonious Monk probably as a genius when he was a kid. When he was younger, playing the piano, doing this thing, people were like, it's a little offbeat, like, But as you look at Thelonious Monk now, and you listen to him now, it's kind of a different thing, right? And one of the problems about that is also this ideology where, you remember, like, if you take Thelonious Monk's music and the way he goes, he's off time but on time. And if y'all remember, if you were younger in the 90s when Timbaland first came out, when the beat was off time but it was on time, that's basically Thelonious Monk put to a drum machine. And it was so outside of the box that it stood out. And so society didn't stump out his inner genius. And that's the thing about inner genius, is it stands out. It stands out like vastly, because you're so accustomed to one thing. This is why people have, there's nothing wrong with a niche market, because that niche is something that, either you create or can include people who want to fit in that niche. Like boxing is a niche market, like football is a niche market. It's just a big niche market. So what winds up happening is you're dealing with the concept of people needing to fit in a certain way, and the need to fit in trumps the need to be brilliant. And sometimes when you're brilliant, that might be a lonely road. So it's like a dueling concept. So what you come to find out over time is you talk to more people and more people, and more people got beat down, probably mentally and emotionally, because people told them their ideas weren't smart, or they were stupid, or they didn't work, or they weren't, or they couldn't see the vision in it. And a lot of times, if you're a visionary, or you're a trailblazer, you're ahead of the curve. So people are not going to see it. So you're dealing with people who over time lost, or let society take their brilliance away. So in some ways they want you to be. We all start extraordinary, and then it stumps you down to be ordinary, and then you get mad at the people who stay extraordinary, and that's the problem. So what winds up happening is, when these people become extraordinary, you hate them. You just hate them, and you hate them to the point where what winds up happening is you get yourself in a situation where at some point or another, you wind up getting mad at the idea that I lost my genius and they didn't. So now what? Now if your genius pays, because think about it. When people think about Steve Jobs They're like the iPhone. Who would think about CDs, MP3s? It didn't make sense to some people. Now it's everything, right? So think about the Jetsons and James Bond and the technological advances. They look cool on TV, but when somebody made them actual things, it's like, woo! FaceTime was on the Jetsons. You feel me? So we out on this video. Peace.